As programmers, we spend a lot of time naming things, but have you ever thought about what goes into the naming of a company? Have a peek inside of the naming of Groxio. This is Bruce, and we are Grokin. In terms of naming ninjas, one person stands out in my life, and that is Jose Vallon. He's the creator of Elixir, and if you're not unfamiliar with this language, he's done a wonderful job of creating things that are short, easy to remember, easy to type, meaningful, and easy to Google, so he gets to take advantage of SEO optimizations. And he does so because he has a pretty clear perspective and really a knack for it. The perspective is that names should be 6 characters or less. They should mean a little bit of something, and they should be easy to Google. So he thinks about these things before anything else in a name. And he came up with things like hex, Elixir itself, Ecto, and a lot of the individual frameworks in the Elixir ecosystem. And that's pretty cool. So now I want to talk about how we chose the name for Groxio. When we named Groxio, one of the things that we were looking for is an idea that we could build the name around. And I came up with this idea of grok. It's kind of an old science term or a computer science term, but the word is beautiful for a training company. It means to understand profoundly and intuitively. And so this is what we did with it. We loved the idea of grok, but grok in and of itself, especially when combined with .com, didn't work for us. So we looked for a URL first. So this is the logo that we came up with when everything was said and done. And this logo embodies a lot of our search and a lot of our thinking in terms of the brand. So I'll just walk you through this directly and you can infer the rest. So it starts with this gear in the middle. And this kind of takes me back to my teaching roots. And I always ask my students, are your gears turning? Or your gears should be turning right now. So this was a natural way that I communicate and kind of allowed me to anchor my personality to the brand a little bit. The second thing that we did, we actually worked with someone to create a font. And this font is called Groxio Regular. And we don't use it very often, but when we do, kind of screams the brand. It's a fixed width font and it's kind of a playful play on the old style Courier fonts. And one of the things that you might have noticed if you really look closely at the brand is that IO on the end is both an I and an O, but it's also ones and zeros. And this idea is kind of a great hat tip to the idea that the thing that we are grokking is ones and zeros, or I/O, or things to do with computers. And so this is kind of built into the idea of our brand and our corporate identity. And now you can kind of see where we're going with the rest of this. The groks is actually a form of the word grok. So someone who embraces Groxio is someone who groks ones and zeros, GROX.IO, which is great because this is a URL and it's only 1 character longer than traditional URL shorteners like bit.ly. So it's easy to type, it's easy to Google, and it's easy to understand, but there's a little bit of playful mystery underneath it, and we really like that a lot. And the last thing that we did, we embedded this idea of learning. So that's part of the trademark that we got. And the reason is that this allows us not to kind of take the whole space around grok, but to grab the little space around education and computer science. So that's the story of our brand. So you can see there's a lot of things that went behind all of this. One of them is that we wanted to get a good URL, and that was one of the guarding factors. And we found by stepping away from the .coms, we were allowed to get more of the ideas that we wanted. The second idea is that it should be easy to find and easy to Google. And the idea of grok is popular enough so that someone knows that it's more than just Bruce Tate, but it also leaves a little bit of the mystery and has a little bit of a science flair, and we like that a lot. And the last thing is that we did not design the logo ourselves. We went to a professional to do that. We thought that we'd be working with this logo for a long time, so it made sense to pay somebody to do that work. So we looked for something that was easy to find and type, something that meant something with a little mystery underneath it, and something playful like we wanted our brand to be. And we think that we hit that on the head. What do you think? This is Bruce, and together we're Grokin.